What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today, Lions Talk Live. Hey, it's a Monday, and yes, as you can probably tell for the thumbnail for this one, a little bit of news coming out of Detroit late last night, early this morning, whatever you want to say. I've been up trying to work on this since about 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, trying to get some more confirmation, some more insights, etc. We'll get into all that during the main top of the day. I am trying to get a couple different people to come on air about it. I'm keeping the phone right next to me, in front of me on air to see if somebody, some of them can come on. But as you guys know, not everybody is a morning person, so I'm just going to have to play that one by ear. So, all right, real quick, couple things before we get into the five top headlines now, the main topic of the day, et cetera, et cetera. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push for 13,100. We're about 50, whatever it is, 55 subs away from that, so if we can help out with that, that would be great. Also, if you would be so kind, reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. We try to get every video between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but not least, if you're considering looking for something to read, perhaps, maybe like historical fiction, maybe like Asian and Native American history and mythology, go ahead and go to Amazon.com or wherever you find good reading literature and order yourself a copy of Kajora book. It is the first in a 9-part series. The second does release later this year. And again, if you like this type of historical fiction, go ahead and check it out. And if you like that, please leave a kind review. All right, with all that said, done, out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the 5 headlines now. Then we'll get into the main topic of the day, which I'm sure it's going to be a barn burner of a conversation here today, and I'll give you guys everything I know, and we'll go on from there as the Duke Crew and talk about it in the comment section. All right, let's go ahead and get on over to 5 headlines now. Yes, I am trying to buy us some time to see if we can get one of the guests to come on over. But again, not everybody gets up this early, so wait and see if we can get something from somebody. All right, 5 headlines now. Jaguars eyeing, I should say, Lions free agent cornerback Carlton Davis. Story by Logan Yulch of NFLTradeRumors.com. Yeah, we all get it, man. The Lions aren't the only team wanting to sign him. Neither are the Jags. There are a lot of different destinations mentioned for Carlton Davis. He is listed as one of the top 10 corners in the NFL. I get not all Lions fans feel that way of him. I don't care what the listing is. I just care about what he does on the field. And I did think he had a pretty productive first season. Sorry, every time my phone blows up, checking to see if it's somebody who can come on. All right, anyways, Carlton Davis, what are you going to do with him? Should the Lions try to re-sign him? I would like him. I would like him to take over the Ife Melifonwu role. It's nothing against Ife Melifonwu. I just don't think he's not somebody I would go over the top trying to resign because of the injury history. Carlton Davis, yes, he gets injured too. I just think he can be a game changer in a lot of roles. It appears that other NFL franchises feel that same way. Chicago Bears linked to signing Pro Bowler with ties to Ben Johnson. Story by Matt Lombardo of Shy City Sports. And in case you didn't know, Ben Johnson, I almost did a story on him. At least that was the plan coming into today, but I'm going to have to table that for tomorrow because the news I got last night, early this morning on Jameson Williams and the Detroit Lions. But at any rate, Ben Johnson is going to apparently be going after Kevin Zeitler. The Bears are not just tied to Zeitler. They're tied to, I want to say, one of the Kansas City free agent offensive linemen and a couple others. I think Ben Johnson understands for his offense to really work, for the Bears to really make a turnaround, he's going to have to get some better blockers out there for his quarterback and his running backs, etc. we'll see what all happens. I'm really hopeful, and I haven't been shy about it for some time, that the Lions re-signed Kevin Zeitler. I hope they make that happen because I think along with him, Christian Mahogany, some of the other young talent they have on the offensive line, Detroit Lions offensive line could be good for a real long time. We'll have to wait and see what happens. 2025 Detroit Lions free agent profile. Kyle Pico was missed after injury. Story by Jeremy Risman of SB Nation. Most of you guys who know who Risman is, he covers the Lions for a living, has done for a long, long time. And I think he's spot on with this. Probably when Pico became injured, remember he had the torn pectoral muscle, etc., kept him out basically the whole season for the most part. Probably most Lions fans didn't really think it was that big a deal. But when you watch how the Lions changed, especially the depth at that DTI spot, I think he's spot on. It was a bigger injury than most of us really understood at the time. My question is, if you're the Detroit Lions, do you try to re-sign him? It would be a Brad Holmes type move. He is an injured guy. He probably gets him a little bit cheaper. I guess wait and see, but I would have no problems with the Lions bringing him back because I do think he fills in a real nice role with this particular team. All right, 2025 Pro Bowl highlights. Jared Goff wins MVP. Jahmyr Gibbs, sick INT. Story by Jeremy Risman, once again, of SB Nation. And while I don't put a whole lot into the Pro Bowl, I know my brother Tim was watching it, messaging me. We were messaging back and forth during the thing. To me, the Pro Bowl is just not what it once was, and I get they want to keep players safe. If you guys remember, like 10 years ago, they tried to move it to passing football or whatever on the beach, and then I don't remember who the player was, blew out his knee during the Pro Bowl games on the beach, so they got rid of that. End of the day, football is not exactly the easiest sport to try to play safely, and yes, I think they're doing a pretty good job with it. Whether or not most fans even watch this thing anymore, I really have no idea. I don't pay a ton of attention. What I would say is I know in recent, the last week or so, I've noticed with the Dew Crew, there seems to become a growing divide when it comes to Jared Goff. JG, you're either a fan of him or you're against him. There doesn't seem to be a middle ground with this guy. I know some people say, man, he is an MVP candidate. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks in Detroit Lions history. And you're not wrong if you say that. I also get there's some people that say, man, his last game was perhaps his worst game of his career, and we should get rid of the bum. What we can say is Jared Goff just got the MVP of the Pro Bowl. Does that mean a ton? Probably not. Remember, Matt Stafford once won it too. I want to say at least. That sounds correct to me. Jared Goff, he's kind of an enigma to most Lions fans because he does so many good things. But then every time this guy does have a bad game, it feels like everybody wants to throw him on the first bus out of here. I don't know. I like the guy. I get why some fans want to move on from him. But I would say this. You move on from him, and I know Brad Holmes has talked about it, you're going to have a real hard time getting somebody clearly better than him. So we'll see what happens with him in the future. But, hey, there's my dime story on him. Bears signed wide receiver, return specialist away from the Detroit Lions. The heavy on this one, no accredited reporter with this. And, yes, Maurice Alexander is no longer a Detroit Lion. He did sign a futures contract with the Chicago Bears. Is it the biggest loss ever for the Detroit Lions? No, but it is another player taking off from Detroit to go to Chicago, along with some coaches. We're going to have some more of this with the Jets, too. Let's face it, people are going to go where they get contract offers. You didn't have one with the Lions, so what are you going to do? You're going to keep your career going by signing with the Chicago Bears since they offered you one. All right, still got the phone in front of me, trying to get special guests over here. I got to imagine the closer we get to 7:30, 8 o'clock, we have a better chance for it. All right, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day, and I'm guessing that's why most people are here. You know, I got to put in a couple little quicker, longer things like that just so I can wet my whistle and clear my throat while I'm not on air. All right, so main topic of the day, as you guys all know from the headline here or the thumbnail here. So last night I got the first bit on this. Then I got a little bit more around 4:30 or whatever time it was this morning. Jameson Williams is somebody, it would appear. And I want to be clear. I got this from a couple of different people. Just to pass this on. Sorry, I got a text and no, they can't come on air. I'm trying to get somebody else. So anyway, Jameson Williams, it sounds like he's one of a few Detroit Lions players that potentially Brad Holmes is talked to other teams about potentially trading. What you would get in return for him, who the other players are, I guess wait and see one at a time. The big name, I guess, for most Lions fans would be Jameson Williams. What are you going to do if you move on from this kid? Who's going to come and replace him? My anticipation is if the Lions actually did this and traded Jameson Williams, you would be creating a massive, massive hole at wide receiver. We all get Amon-Ra St. Brown is wide receiver number 1. Jameson Williams is wide receiver number 2 on the depth chart, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. My question would be, why in the heck would the Detroit Lions want to get rid of perhaps one of the craziest, most athletic wide receivers out there? The only thing I could get from people was that the Lions are at least opening the door to conversations. They haven't made a firm decision that, yes, we're going to move on from him or anything like that. It does sound like, talking to multiple different reporters in Detroit, the question that MCDC and Brad Holmes both have is a developing history line with Jameson Williams. While there hasn't been anything egregious over the top with the kid, there have been a couple, let's be fair, there have been a couple incidents with the kid. 2 years ago, we all get it. He got banned suspended, I should say, for a couple of games because of gambling. What I will say in Jameson Williams' defense is that the same situation is no longer an offense in the NFL. You can't be suspended for what he did. I think the NFL realized when he and a couple other people got suspended that this rule is kind of bogus. I mean, sorry, you're in the parking lot of Ford Field or wherever the heck it was. I don't remember off the top of my noggin, and just said, hey, this really shouldn't be a big deal. We get if you're inside Ford Field placing bets, all right, that's still punishable. But if you're in the parking lot of the Ford Field or at a hotel while you're in an away game, whatever it was, this really shouldn't be a problem for NFL players, especially since he wasn't betting on NFL games. Then came this year. We all remember it. Jameson Williams got beat up a little bit for taking a performance-enhancing, whatever it was, product. It does sound like, while it's never been fully 100% confirmed, it was for Adderall. That Jameson Williams, maybe has some sort of anxiety or just, for focus, he takes it for ADHD, etc. And perhaps he has a prescription for it, and that's why he was suspended. The only problem I have with that is if a doctor has prescribed it to him, it should not be an offense then, because the doctor, I'm assuming, knows more than the NFL about the product, let alone the client and or the patient, I should say, and say, hey, this person needs it, then you know what, they got to have it. And again, that's never been fully corroborated. It's been speculated by a lot of different places. So I guess at the end of the day, that could be why Brad Holmes at least is opening the door for conversations. So my question to you guys, Duke Crew, still working on this story, still trying to get some people on air. One person has said they can't come on air. If the Lions were to trade him, what in the heck would you get for him, and how do you replace him? I am not a fan of this idea. I want Jamo to stay. I think this would be, I get at the end of the day why you traded TJ Hockenson. You didn't want to pay him, and you didn't think he was worth that contract. I went on air, I want to say it was like 5 days, 6 days before the trade went down, said, hey, this thing's about to happen. I've got like 5 different people in Detroit media saying the Lions are just trying to up the deal a little bit more, get a little bit more in return for him. So I get people are going to say, hey, well, we traded Hockenson. I get that. I just don't think you can go out and get another Jameson Williams anytime soon. There are just so few people on planet Earth that can do what he can do. Yes, the naysayers for this kid are going to come out and say, he's been suspended twice. Man, I don't even remember what the other thing was. Oh, yeah, the flag for, was it Stevenson getting into it with the Chicago Bears and then getting into it again a second time. I get all that stuff. To me, that stuff's just not enough to get rid of a kid like this. He is generational in my mind. It doesn't have to be your mind. But I can also say when the flags happened this year, when the suspension happened this year, there was a good chunk of Lions fans that said it's time to move off this kid. We need to get him out of here, cut him, trade him, whatever, unmercifully behead him. I mean, whatever he wanted to do. There have been a lot of fans that have been on this kid. I'm just here to give my opinion. You have your opinion. There's nothing wrong with either one. There's no way in heck I'm trading this guy. And again, unless somebody's going to make you an offer you can't refuse, like 2-3 first-round picks for him or something like that. And no, I don't think the Lions would ever get that for him. I just don't see the value in trading him. Now, Jameson Williams, I did pull up the numbers on him while talking to you guys. As we all know, he's got 1 year left. His base salary for his rookie contract, I should say, his base salary is, 2.5 million roughly. He does have a prorated signing bonus of roughly that same amount. His cap hits, 5.5 million. Dead cap, if he just were to release him, etc., is basically 2.5 million. And then there is a club option 5th year, the following year after that. I don't see the Lions moving on from him. I think he's going to be a Lion for a long, long time. But what do you guys think? I get Brad Holmes is just doing his due diligence, more than likely, at least that's my assumption, as a general manager and seeing what is out there for him. I'm struggling to think how the heck you would keep this offense without keeping Jameson Williams. And again, it's no disrespect to Sam Laporta, Gibbs, or St. Brown, or whoever else you want to list. I just think he is a game-changing aspect to this team that there's zero opportunity to replace him anytime soon. And I know one person said, well, hey, Lions could trade him and go get Tyreek Hill. I guess you could do that, but Tyreek Hill, does he seem like a Detroit Lions locker room guy? If you're worried about Jameson Williams, I got to imagine you're worried more about Tyreek Hill. Is there somebody in the draft you could go get? Maybe. That person's not coming into my mind, and a rookie wide receiver is going to take time to develop. There are very few rookie receivers that come in and just gangbusters right away. Wide receiver, I don't think it's as difficult as quarterback or cornerback. I do think it's a difficult spot to learn in the NFL. So what do you guys have to say? Is Brad Holmes just kicking cans and seeing who's going to offer him something he can't refuse? Do you think perhaps MCDC and Brad Holmes really are looking for the right offer for Jameson Williams? I think a lot of people are going to be torn down the middle on this one, and there's no wrong thing here. I want to keep the kid. I like the kid. Yes, he's had some off-field stuff, but I don't think it's anything, over the top egregious. Yes, he's been suspended twice. If in fact this year's thing for Adderall was indeed the case, I don't think that's why you get rid of somebody if he's got a prescription for it. 2 years ago, I know I already talked about it, but the gambling thing, not a chance, man. It's no longer even what he did is no longer even an offense per NFL and NFLPA guideline and rules. So if our only beef with him after those two are just him getting some flags with Tyreek Stevenson, you know what? The only thing I'd say to you as a coach is the second person always gets the flag, always get caught. In fact, I would even reference our game or the team I coached Friday. We had an incident, it wasn't a big one or anything, 2 people battling and stuff. One of our kid caught an elbow to the ribs and got a little upset, came back and we'll just say posted up pretty hard on that same person. The refs caught the second infraction, not the first one, and that's about always the case. So I don't think you're getting rid of him for that, but it does open up a question for us as Lions fans, I think, this offseason. Jameson Williams wasn't the only person apparently that Brad Holmes is at least listening to on. Who would the other people be? I guess wait and see, but he was the big name thrown to me, so we'll see where it goes from here. I think this story is probably going to be around for a while. You're probably going to get some more stuff on it, especially leading into the draft and free agency. Whether or not the Lions ever move on from him, I'm just going on record right now and saying it to y'all. I pray not, because I like the kid. I think he's got nothing but upside. Yes, it's going to cost to keep him, because if he has another season like he did this season, and realistically it's going to be better than this past season, I think that price tag for him is going to go up. And if we're not willing to pay it, you better dang well be sure Ben Johnson's going to be all over him. So do you want him on your sideline or Chicago's? Do you want him in New York with the Jets or the Detroit Lions or somebody else? I mean, somebody else will pay him as well. It's not just those 2 teams. All right, Duke Crew, let's go ahead and get over to you guys. I'm going to keep the phone, if you guys don't mind, right in front of me here in case one of them do say they can hop on. I'm hoping the closer we get to 8 o'clock, we can get somebody on air. And it's hard for me to always remember. Not everybody gets up at like 5 or 4:30 or whatever in the morning. Sorry to clear my throat. All right, JDC, morning all. Same to you, JDC. Jameer, grand rising, everyone. Good to see you, Jameer. And same to you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. It's possible. Woo! I would go with that. We can all say what we want. No, it's not possible. Yes, it is possible. The only thing I can say is nobody thought the Lions were trading Stafford. When Brad Holmes was with the Rams, they pulled off a lot of different trades that everybody was like, hey, that's never going to happen. Yes, with the Detroit Lions, probably nobody thought we would trade in division with Minnesota to be able to get Jameson Williams. Yes, nobody thought we would trade again in division to trade TJ Hawkinson. So I get all that before you guys go there and beat me up with it. The only thing I can say is it is clear that the Lions, Brand Holmes, have listened to people or at least started having some sort of thought process about it. Again, till the new season begins, none of this could actually go down or happen. It could be suggested, it could be reported, but nothing could ever be official. Hardy, morning. I won't believe rumors until I see it. Exclamation point. You don't trade a game-changing talent without getting one in return. Yeah, and that's the part I don't know. If they were to trade him, what would they get in return? I know one of the questions I had is what the heck would the Lions get from a draft capital standpoint, or would it be an existing player? That part, Hardy, I got no clue on. So no clue. I couldn't give you guys even a speculative guess. Both 13th Warrior quote. Love that movie, by the way. Quote, it's possible if you have seen the movie. I love that movie indeed. Underrated movie. Robert, what? No way. And that's kind of where I'm at with it, but I've been wrong before. Robert, greetings and salutations. Back at you. Manbear, good morning. Dan Bonaducci, and Scrappy Doo Crew. Man, that took me back a minute. I forgot about Bonaducci. Let's see, Damian, he's going into his final year on a rookie deal. This is true. Holmes has been a part of a few big trades with the Rams and even us. This is true. I mean, you could probably say you could almost give him the name Trader Brad or whatever for it. Some of you guys would get that with Trader Jack McCloskey, but I just don't see this happening. I remember when I first reported on the TJ Hawkinson trade, I didn't really believe it at first until like the day 2 of hearing it. This was about a week or whatever it was before things went down, and then it did go down. So could it happen? Yeah, it's just what do you get in return? I would have to believe you are getting an existing NFL player or two in return, along with maybe some draft capital. I just think Jameson Williams, for my views, my eyes, he is a defense changer. You have to constantly know where he is and probably commit 2 defenders to him. If 2 guys are on him all the time, there's only 9 guys to account for everybody else and get to the quarterback. All right, Moonscar, good morning. Duke Crew starting live. Exclamation point. Down with the Eagles. Exclamation point. No, not those Philly Eagles. Yes, I see what you're doing there. I want them to stop the three-peat. Down with the Eagles from Schoolcraft. Thank you for that. And yes, that is tonight, my friend. Damien, traded Stafford and Hawkinson. Yes. Holmes did that, and he's been with other trades too. Southwest, and not one of our key guys going anywhere. That's where I'm at, man. It's just, again, I know at least in my mind, I knew when they talked about TJ Hawkinson, when I got the first reports on that, whatever it's been, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, to me, because Hawkinson just wasn't great at run blocking. So again, you looked at what the new regime was doing. To me, it made sense. And I did a deep dive video on it, I think after the trade became official. Some other thoughts on it, because I didn't think he was great at that time, and maybe he is now too. With rounding his cuts, he would kind of round them way too much, which led to a lot of interceptions. Ideally, when you plant that first foot, you go out at an angle and really make it difficult on the cornerback or DB linebacker or whatever. Hawkinson, in my opinion, wasn't great at that, so I understood that. Jameson Williams, I would not understand if they're trading him unless there's stuff we don't know. That's the one thing I would say. If there's some sort of stuff, off the field or whatever that we're not privy to at this time, that would make more sense to me. I just don't see it happening because he seems like a good personality. He seems like he's really endeared in the locker room. He feels like, he's committed to run blocking. He's committed to helping him being part of the team. He's not complaining about, hey, I don't get enough passes or anything like that. I just don't see the red flags on him that I did with TJ Hawkinson. So at least, this is just my opinion. All right, Robert, this is going to be a fantastic Lions team that is totally different from what we've seen. Let's go Lions. Could be that too. Could be maybe some sort of commitment to, different philosophies. I don't know. This, again, this is going to have to play itself out before I probably have a full view of it. Big Eddie, greetings and salutations. Damian Pearson, good call on the TJ Hawkinson trade. We did trade him. Everyone said no way would Hawk be traded. You're correct. There were a lot of people saying that would never happen. He was one of our few stars on the team at that time. And then obviously in hindsight that we all see that was probably a good move. Steve, good morning to Dan, the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Tough choices will have to be made, but there is no one I would want to be making those choices but Brad Holmes. He's the man. So, you bring up a point, kind of, Steve, with tough choices. Could it be that when the Lions look at their salary cap and the coming up seasons, you got to make some hard choices? If you're going to pay, obviously we've paid McNeil. I'm assuming at least we're going to pay Aiden Hutchinson and not trade him. That's an assumption. I guess one never knows. Anything is possible, as you guys have said. Could there be other people you're looking at and saying, we got to sign this guy, we got to sign this guy? We've already signed St. Brown. Maybe they're saying we're going to sign Laporta and Gibbs. We just can't sign everybody. I guess maybe that could be a contributing factor too. Brent, good morning, Dooku. Anything's possible. I go with that. Southwest, that would be the stupidest trade of all time. That would be the same old Lions move. I'll put this. I thought the trade for Herschel Walker was the stupidest trade I'd ever seen. Although if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you loved it. I'm with you, Southwest. I don't want to see him gone. But I guess, to be fair, just trying to be as neutral as I can be here until we would see what the Lions would get potentially in return. If somebody threw a Herschel Walker type trade at us, I'd say, hey, I'll help you pack those bags. See, Moonscar, I love the 13th Warrior. Fire Verm? Yes, 100%. Fire Verm. Trey, what's good? Oh, just because Holmes considers trading someone does not mean they will be dealt. Correct. This is also true. Just because he has some conversations doesn't mean that a move will happen. Darcy, what would he get in return? I don't know, man. Without knowing that, hard to say if it's a good deal or not. Yes, I would say that's well said. Any more? Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke. What a team. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And thanks for all, as always, for that. So that would be a crackhead move with trade Jamo year. Okay, I'm moving to China. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I've said my piece on it. I don't want us to trade him, but I also don't know the thought process behind it. I'm still working on that. Still got the phone in front of me. Hopefully somebody can come on. France, Southwest, holler. A lot of fans thought Holmes was dumb when he traded TJ Hockenson. I'd say that worked out fine for us. In hindsight, yes, you basically gave up TJ Hockenson. You got Sam I M Laporta, and I want to say ultimately you ended up getting another player too. I don't have that in front of me, but that seems about right. So, Stephanie, good morning. Why would we trade him? Question mark. Or is Brad saying they don't think he's worth a second contract? Question mark. Not sure how I feel on this. It could be that, or I don't remember who said it in the comment section. It could be you just can't re-sign everybody. So, would you rather get something for him than nothing? So is this a statement from the front office saying a year from now, are we giving him a fifth-year option, or beyond the fifth-year option, are we going to be able to extend him? We've got so much money going to other spots on our big money board that we just can't afford him. He's the piece to fall. That I don't know. Bo, quote, he could die. It's possible, but of course he didn't. All right, and it's true. Southwest, you're talking about TJ. I'm talking about Jamo. End of story. Anybody else believe this needs to be drug tested? Fair enough. Fair enough. Five Fingers Freddy, you heard. I hear you, Southwest, but Holmes has done this type of move before. I think it is the point. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. Dale, if Jamo is traded, his career, I believe, would be a bad situation for him mentally. I agree with that, Dale, 100%. I think that's a great point. I think, and I don't know Jameson Williams personally. I just think, man, oh man, he probably needs the right situation around him. I think most of us understand that about the kid, that he's got some stuff with him. I think he needs to have like a father figure around him. I think he needs the structure. Maybe that's a better way to put it, of the team around him. I think he's got a ton of potential, but he's still kind of growing. Everybody could say, well, he's 24 years old. He should be mature. Everybody matures at a different rate, different time, different structure than other people. I like Jameson Williams a lot. I don't want to see him gone. I do think he's got to grow up a little bit, and I do think he has grown up a little bit. So that's where I'll go with it. I'm not going to beat it up and say a ton more on that. I think he's got a lot of upside potential. If he's had a new team, a new situation, they better have the right structure of the team, right locker room around him. Otherwise, he could fall to distraction. Southwest, we're talking about a generational talent that just doesn't grow on trees. I agree with you there. TJ ain't done jacks since he left, but gets hurt. He did get hurt. Quentin, greetings, salutations. I'm down with trading him if we get the right offer. That would be the thing. What would you get in return for him? Jeff, all your channel does is bring up clickbait. Jamo ain't going anywhere. All right, Jeff. Well, if that's your thought, why are you here? Crickets. All right. Sosimo. Brad Holmes has twice traded for Goff. This is true. One time with the Rams and once with the Lions. Yes, he traded Hawk here too. I doubt we trade Jamo unless MCDC has become worried about some of the off the field stuff. It could be that as well. Richard, I just can't see it. Me neither, man. He's the number 2 receiver. I get it, but wait and see what happens in time. Susan, no way we trade him. Exclamation point. He's made some mistakes, but I think he is learning and growing up. I think he is too. I think he's maturing. I think you clearly see that growth and development. Lions for the win. People don't just sue Luka. Yeah, this is true. People didn't just see Luka traded. Trading Jamo isn't impossible. Please wake up. That is the other part. There's and most of you guys know I've covered sports either collegiately, professionally, etc. Since the late 80s. Have there been probably 30 different trades in my lifetime that everybody said, man, this could never happen, and then it did happen? Matt Stafford trade. Never going to happen. It happened. And, I can remember a lot of people when the news hit said this is fake news. It was, hey, just to call you out there, Jeff. A lot of people said that was clickbait. Guess not. A lot of people said when TJ Hawkinson got traded, it was clickbait. Guess what? Well, not so much. When the Lions were going to trade in division and get Jameson Williams, there were people who say, man, teams don't do in-division trades. Well, guess what? It happens. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it always comes down to one thing. We as fans can have an opinion. It doesn't matter what our opinions are, though. It matters what the coaching staff in the front office has to say. And you look around, and not just the NBA, and I think Luka's a great point there, Lions for the win, but you look across the NFL. There's a lot of teams that you're like, wow, they traded Tyreek Hill. No way. He's their number 1 wide receiver. They got rid of him, and it seems like the Chiefs are doing just fine. So there's that aspect of things, too. Well, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you, Southwest. Anyways, back to reality. We need to hit the draft and hard and get a pass rusher. I agree with that. A cornerback and get a steal at wideout just to open up one more, a guy that's faster than Patrick. Things would really open up. Yeah, I know if you remember Southwest, the mock draft 1.0 for Lions Talk Live, I did have us taking the UNLV guy because I do think he is that fast. I don't know if he's Jameson fast, but he's not far off. I would say this. They're pretty similar. You put him out there along with Jamo, along with St. Brown, along with Sam Laporta, along with Gibbs. I mean, you can't guard everybody. You can't double team everybody. See, Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and Duku. May I get a triple? Woo! You want one? I'll give you one. How about a 1 and a 2 and a 3? Plus, I get to get a little water from my throat, so thank you for that, Gunny. Voltron. Could be after this year's 2-game suspension and stuff with Detroit police. The team had enough. I don't know. Yeah, and it could be that, and again, I don't know the full details yet. I know that's at least been a thought process clearly with the Detroit Lions front office. Whether or not he's dealt, we're going to have to wait and see. I don't have that information yet. Well, good morning, Man Bear. Woo! Art, I know Jamo has had some stuff off the field issues. Maybe there's a sign that it's not going to change. If so, then yes, he needs to go. It could be that too, Art. It could be, let's face it, and I've got the kids back. I like the kid. I don't want him gone. But I'm also not running the Detroit Lions. If they feel like this is a continuing thing, or at least there's a reasonable opportunity for this to continue to happen, then maybe they're just making a business decision saying, hey, we got to at least see what we can get in return from them because we're not going to give them a second contract. It could simply be that. There's enough a gray area with the kid where they're like, we're not giving you a second contract, so we'd rather get something for him versus nothing. Lions for the win. Southwest, you're acting like Jamo is Megatron or someone. The kid is still immature. Exclamation point. We saw that last game humbling the ground. Yeah, I'll go with that. And Bit could be getting old to Brad and Dan. I didn't even think about that, Lions for the win. It could be some of that stuff. I don't want to see the kid go. Moonscar, deception is the point. Ooh, that's an idea. Any fool can calculate strength. Now he must calculate what he cannot see. That is a great quote from 13th Warrior. And maybe you're spot on. Maybe the Detroit Lions are simply trying to put information out there in a misdirection move. That's the hard part, is if they're doing stuff like that, yeah, maybe they have a bigger play in play. All right, Jess, greetings, salutations. Not a fan of trading him, but I would understand why. He's running into a lot of off-the-field stuff over his career here. Name another Lion who can say that. You're not wrong. He would be the lone Lion who's still here that fit that description. I know, a couple of you say whenever I bring up a story like this, clickbait. So I'm going to throw this at you. Not a trade one. Oh, gosh, what's his name? He went from us to the Kansas City Chiefs, and then he got arrested and thrown in jail for dogfighting. He was a defensive tackle. Man, I can't remember his name. But anyways, I had the story that him and Aaron Glenn got into it in the Detroit Lions cafeteria. I cannot remember his name off the top of my noggin now. But anyways, everybody was like, why isn't he playing? Why has he been inactive? And he went like 6 games with being inactive. Isaiah Bugs. Thank you. And it ended up, he went to the Chiefs, kind of the same thing, went down and got inactive. And then we found out he was a locker room issue there. It was a locker room issue here in Detroit. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people said, man, you were right. Well, sometimes I get right. Sometimes I get something wrong. Pat, could we get a first and third rounder for him? What's the market? I don't know. I don't know the market for him. I don't think you would get a first. It's my guess. You might be able to get a second and maybe like a fifth or a fourth or something like that for him. So you're talking about basketball. Man, didn't nobody want to hear nothing you talking about another person talking this woke bull crap. Yeah, man, the earth might be flat. I'm woke, but yeah, I don't know what the earth being flat or not being flat or anything like that has to do with this. So sorry, Southwest, I don't get that one. Walt Marks hit the like button for Dan of the Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Dave, I pray we don't. Without doubt, he's made a few mistakes. Nothing that's over the top, though. Yeah, that's where I agree with you. I don't think that anything he's done has been that offensive. But, again, I'm also not running the Detroit Lions. They have to make that choice. Marcus, good morning. Welcome back, Jack Flaherty. Okay. And good to see you, Marcus, by the way. Moonscar, with Jamo, we have one more season, then the 5th-year option. He lost his, quote, guarantees with the gambling. Now we can extend with new guarantees and spread it over 4, 5, even 5, 4, 5, or even 5 years. Yeah, it could be just that, 6 years. All right. Thanks for that, Moonscar, and you're all right. Fake news, Jamo stays. That I don't know. I can only report, Marcus, what I'm finding out, and go with it on your own, man. Bull Jive. I love his character in the 13th Warrior. I'm down with that. Zealous, yeah, trade a younger proven star for a guy his age that can be a bust. I never believed thumbnails. It's all BS. What if from a guy who played hockey rumors? Okay, hockey. We'll go with the hockey insider. Oh, Walt, please don't trade Jamo. It would be a huge mistake for sure. Yeah, and again, from what I've heard, it's just they're opening up the door for conversations. Doesn't mean anything's pending. Lines one, Luka AD trade, anything can happen. I agree with that. And yes, just because it's basketball, it doesn't mean it can't happen in football. Again, in Southwest, I'm with you. I don't want to see the kid gone. But, I mean, I don't know your age, but I'm assuming you've lived in the last 10 years in the NFL. And there have been a ton of different trades in the NFL that nobody saw happening before it happened. And again, use Tyreek Hill as an example. Kim, I'm not willing to consider all options for impact if you can back yourself into a corner. Brad Holmes needs to weigh all potential options. Correct with that. Yes, it could simply be doing that. Options, and that includes star players that we all want to keep. There's a cost. Yeah, you can't keep everybody. I get all that. Could they trade him? Yes. Could it just be kicking tires on offers? That's also true. Bo, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse, as sometimes that happens. JDC, Puff, woo, coffee and Lions Talk Live. Thank you for that. James, why in the heck would they trade Jameson Williams for? That I don't know. I don't have that information at this time, James. France, Holmes has shown every player has a price. You are correct there. He has. Trey, I can see it going down. Unfortunately, I can too. Doesn't mean it will happen, though. Jason, team will need a lot of patience if they get him in trade. It would be better off staying put. That's where I agree. I think he's going to perform better here because of the culture in that locker room, the familiarity. If he goes somewhere else, that's where I kind of worry about stuff. So I think you're right with that, Jason. Marcus, the Pistons got a better chance of trading for Luka. Unfortunately, Luka, unless the Lakers are now going to trade him, I don't see it happening. Dunk. No one ever really cares about that, but the Super Bowl or bust, 17-0, I'll go with that. Dynamite, what do you got? They better not. I'm with you there. I don't want to see the kid go. Big D, do not get rid of Jamo. There you go. Don Kong by Jamo. I'm not. Come on, Danny. All right, I'm not. Or fair enough. Fair enough. I can come on. Oh, sorry, man. I read that wrong. Sorry about that, Donkey. David, Holmes needs to clean house and start over. There are some people who will say that. Sean Campbell expresses how much the team himself and City love Jamo if applicable. Yes, correct. Trem Reaper, what up, Coach and Duke Crew? What's up with you? Hopefully having a good start to your day. Raider, hello, Dan and Chet, all the great Lions fans, back at you. Michael, what do you got? Michelle, excuse me. No, not Jamo. Yeah, Michelle, I don't think they're going to, but it's not ultimately my choice, is it? So we'll see what happens, Michelle. Let's see, Miles Marker, greetings, salutations, folks. Rumor season. And at Miles Marker, it could just be that. Lions put something up there, seeing who kicks the can. If somebody makes them an offer they simply can't refuse, maybe that's simply what it is. John, greetings, salutations, Dan, and the world-famous Duke Crew. Roar, and woo, back at you. Gary, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. I just wonder if he may be a part of a package for Myles Garrett. Could that be something? I don't know. Maybe him and Hendon Hooker. Who knows? It's possible, I guess. Here's Johnny. How much cash to re-sign Jamo? If the Lions were to trade Jameson Williams, I think ultimately that's what it comes down to. Can you afford to pay both St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Penei Sewell, Jared Goff? And that's just on offense. It could simply be that. I guess to me, if they were to trade him, that would be the biggest compelling reason why. So we trade Jamo for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the cheerleaders and 2 first-round picks. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. If they offer that, I probably wouldn't take it. Southwest Lions for the win. David, that sounds ridiculous. Clean house. Get rid of Gibbs, sell Hutchinson, Branch, Kirby, etc. Big D. Only an idiot would trade the fastest receiver in the league. But to be fair, the Chiefs did the same thing with Tyreek Hill, though, too, and it's worked out for them. Again, if they did it, the only reason why I would see it happening is you just can't pay everybody. David, your sponsor has nothing to do with the Lions. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with that. Matt G, get on with it. Fair enough. Carl, keep up the good work, Coach. Jamo isn't going over. Yeah, I don't think he is. But again, could they simply be doing their due diligence just to see what somebody would offer them? Maybe. Hell, what? Getting rid of Jamo? Say it ain't so? Yeah, nobody is saying that he's being traded. Somebody is just, there are a couple people saying that the Lions are opening the door for conversations regarding it. See, 8-10 rate? No, I'll go with that. David, good morning, all. I can see trading Hooker to the Jets. All right, I can see that. David. Gun guy, take your pants off. I'll leave that to you. Walt, Coach, happy birthday to your daughter. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's a big one for her. I know she's super excited, man. Trimmer, Matt G, get on another channel. Fair enough. Let's see, Mo, I'll take a haul to get him. It would take a haul to get him. Brad isn't giving away anything at cost. And that's where I agree. If the Lions did trade him, it probably is going to cost a wee bit to get him. What you would get in return, I don't know. I have no clue on it. Silent Service, good morning. Back at you. David, damn straight, clean house. Fair enough. Big D, Matt G logged onto wrong chat, I think. Yeah, it happens, man. I've been there before. Even Broski wants to clean house. I'll go with that. Yes, I'll go with that. Lauren, good morning. Coach Dan and Dooku, same to you. Lions for the win. David says clean house. Guys, get rid of Hutchinson, Gibbs, St. Brown, Laporta, Sewell, Branch. Yeah, I would say David might have a tie to the Chicago Bears is my guess. Mo Glasgow can go. He was a revolving door. He was, man. And I think he's probably maybe a backup at this point in his career or close to retirement. Lions for the win. David is Broski under a burner account. Probably true. A Big D, you drunk? Maybe. So who's drunk? I don't know. Maybe David? Okay. Carl, CD is definitely top 10. Yeah, I agree with you there, Carl. I really like the guy. I think he does a real good job. John, hopefully this isn't true, but if it's true, who would replace him and what kind of compensation can we get first or second round draft picks? I don't personally think we would get John a first round pick for him. Is it possible that it could happen? Sure. I don't know. My thought is you probably get like a second, and a fourth and maybe an existing player. Marcus, how we go trade Jamo with him in Ford Field turf, expecting a newborn this fall. He did leave his imprint on Ford Field's turf, no doubt about it. Waylon, this dude is crap. I seen him here in Tennessee. Trash. All right, fair enough. Let's see, Troy, what I miss? Rumors and innuendos, speculation at this point. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring over one of the guests I've reached out to this morning. He's coming on, and you guys know him. Hutch Jr., sorry to bake you this morning, but hey, wanted to get somebody else's take on this. Late last night, just to bring you up to speed, I got the first message from somebody in regards to potentially Lions at least being open to the idea of trading Jameson Williams. What do you think about it? I know the kids had some off-season stuff, or off-the-field stuff, I should say. Do you think the Lions are just testing the waters, or do you think there's any kind of validity to the potential moving on from them?
Yeah, I think truthfully, I could see this going both ways. The reason why I can see this going both ways is Jamo, in technically his third year, has hit 1,000-yard receiver.
Yes.
So basically what you got to look at now is if he goes into this season as another 1,000 wide receiver, what is Jamo going to cost you to re-sign him to a contract? So I think right now they are probably looking at, okay, can we afford to pay him over, or are we going to pay Jamo over Kirby, Branch, Hutch, so-and-so? Jack Campbell's going to need a contract. Jahmyr Gibbs right now, if he continues the way he's going, he's going to demand a massive contract. On the other side of things, I think it would be a huge mistake to trade Jamo just for many reasons. Dan Campbell has very much expressed that he loves Jamo and he's a huge part of this team, and he's finally fitted. He's starting to fit in. Next would be, I truly think if Jamo leaves, the locker room would be devastated. I know him, Hutch, and people have kind of gained a just relationship with each other. To me, that would be the devastation of the locker room, and I think that would be the kind of first thing where the Detroit Lions, as a locker room thing, would be starting to question Brad Holmes, like, hey, I get why you traded this guy, but why did you do it? Now, if the Lions go into the draft this year, I've been on record on many times as saying I could see them taking someone at 28 that a lot of people would not be happy with. If they go into this draft and they take a wide receiver, because there is a lot of good wide receivers out there, I could see them moving from Jamo because of the wide receivers that are there. You have Tentora McClellan from Arizona. You have Luther Burden III from Missouri. There is a lot of wide receivers that would benefit this offense more than what Jamo does. Yes, Jamo has become a long way, but we do not have a 50-50 ball deep route wide receiver. This receiver at 28, you could get many things. So I think moving Jamo would be a bad move for the Lions just because of what he brings to our offense, but I could see Brad Holmes doing it.
So let's Scooby-Doo this real quick. And I personally believe Jameson Williams isn't going anywhere. I know, a couple years ago I had the story on TJ Hockenson, being traded from the Lions. I got that one. When I broke that one like week before it happened, whatever it was, 4 days, 4 minutes before it happened, I get that part because what he doesn't do in run blocking, what this offense at that time was built around, he didn't seem like an ideal fit. But Jameson Williams does seem like a real good fit here. If the Lions were to trade him, who do you think the big players would be to acquire him?
Yeah, so here's my thing. I've been trying to look at this roster over the last, I don't know, probably since we lost to the Commanders. Our biggest problem right now, and if you scroll down this roster, there's not many things you look at that the Lions need. They probably need another cornerback. I would probably say they need a side-to-side linebacker with speed. And then they probably need an edge rush or an interior D lineman just because McNeil's going to be out till November. So if you put it in that aspect, what is Brad Holmes probably going to look for? He's probably going to want some extra maybe compensation for draft picks for this year's draft, just because there are some pieces in this draft that I would like to have for the interior and edge. Unless you're getting an all-pro cornerback, which I said would be my top tier trade in the offseason. If there's one guy you need to go out, I wanna go out and get like a Sauce Gardner or a just a Pat Surtain or someone like that to bring into this defense that can play, that's locked down, then you can take the pressure off Terrion Arnold. So for me, like, I don't know what Brad Holmes would get for Jamo right now. Now, next year, let's say he has another 1,000-yard wide receiver year, you might be able to swing a first-round pick. I just don't know if Brad Holmes is going to let a player, especially they traded up for Jamo, so they knew what they were going to get for Jamo. So for them to just be like, you know what, year 3, we're done with Jamo. It's a weird situation for me. Jamo's came a long way, so I don't think they're going to trade him. I'm with you. I think it's just kind of see what we get. But for me, like, you need either another D end, an interior, or you need a cornerback. And I just don't think a lot of teams are going to come off a star player for a potential of what Jamo could be.
So let's, if the Lions were to move on from Jameson Williams, why do you think that would be? Would it be I know a couple people in the chat are saying the 2026 salary cap. Do you think it's, some of the off-field stuff? What would be the compelling factor, in your opinion, as to why to move on from him?
Yeah, I think it would be just a bunch of stuff. It'd be probably money-wise, because you got to look at, 2026, so we're what? So we're probably 2026. They're probably going to look to extend Gibbs, probably get that done. So, yeah, I think it would just be money-wise. And then, if he has, I love Jamo, love the kid. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. But he's had problems. And we've been here before as Lions fans with players, Titus Young to be an example. You just don't want that to happen. You don't want to wait now. Okay, hey, I wasted a 12th overall pick on a guy. But he's came a long way. He was really good towards the end of the season. I think Dan Campbell finally broke through that shield that he's always said he's had and kind of got to him and things like that. So this trade would kill. I think this would be one of the trades that kill me. I mean, there's a few players on this team that would kill me just because of what his energy he brings, what he brings to this offense, and what he means to this team. Especially after everyone doubted this kid for years, for this guy to come out to do what he's done. I think it would be a gut punch to Jamo, and I think it'd be a gut punch to Lions fans. And I think Lions fans would look at Brad Holmes like, what are you doing? Like, why would you trade Jameson Williams after a 1,000-yard receiver? Because, like you said earlier, this would take a huge hole off of our offense. I mean, now you're talking about people just doubling Amon-Ra, bracketing Amon-Ra totally. And, this would pretty much say, like, hey, we're just going to go with St. Brown, Laporta, and then that's your wide receivers, where you got Jamo, St. Brown, Laporta, Gibbs. I mean, your offense is more open by keeping Jamo.
Yeah, I've been talking about it with the new OC and some of the other coaches they've added. I personally think it's not going to be exactly like the 1970s or early 80s Raiders offense, where you just had a lot of speed out there, going to force people to put 8 people in the box because we're going to go run heavy and then throw deep patterns. But with Jameson Williams out there, you can make something like that happen. Without him, I think, like you're suggesting, it definitely cripples the offense significantly, in my opinion. That being said, I also get, some trying to sort of pay attention to some of the people in the comment section. I know a lot of people are not a fan of the idea of even thinking about trading him. I also get 2026. The Lions are going to face some financial constraints they haven't faced in recent years. If you keep Jameson Williams, I guess here's the question for you and everybody in the comment section. Who are you willing to get rid of? Because you are going to probably have to get rid of a few guys that we don't want to get rid of. So, Hutch Jr., let me ask you, who are you letting go if you keep Jamo?
See, realistically, it's going to be hard, but I think, you're probably going to keep Branch, you'll keep Kirby, you'll keep Hutch. If we're looking at linebackers this year, I would not be surprised if Barn follows AG to the Jets. It's going to suck. Rodrigo might be one of those people we don't resign. These ACL injuries. Could it be Terrion Arnold? What Terrion's due in 2026? 4 years or right. No, he was drafted 4? So he's got 2028. He'd be up in 2028. it's going to be someone on this defense, or they're just going to have to restructure a bunch of contracts and go from there. But it's bad.
All right, so last thing here, let me throw it at you. If they were to trade him, what do you ultimately think they get in return for him? Because that would be the $1 million question for any Lions fan. If we're going to move on from this kid who seems to be becoming a budding star, what would you possibly get in return?
Yeah, I think right now, you're probably looking at maybe a mid-second, early second, and probably a third. Now, if he comes out this year, and like I said before, he comes out and has another 1,000-yard receiver, then we might be talking a late first, early second combined. But right now, I just don't see the trade value. Look, unless you're like a team that really needs a wide receiver, like Cleveland, like Tennessee, like the Raiders. I could see the Raiders totally trying to do something with this trade,
Right.
because they're probably going to be looking at if they can trade up and get a quarterback, and then they don't really have wide receivers outside of Brock Bowers. So that would be a nice 1-2 punch combo for a rookie quarterback coming in. But the thing is what's the market for Jamo? And I don't think Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell would be like, you know what? We'll just let the 12th overall pick walk for a second and third. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think Jamo stays. I'm with you. I think he stays. But I'm just hoping that this does not get, things can swirl and get out to people. This would be one thing that I think would probably deter Jamo's mental that he's kind of really came about. We just kind of keep him under check.
Well, I think at the end of the day, we all have to remember, as fans, we have some opinions. As front office people, they have different opinions, and it is a business. We all get it. You can't keep everybody. Everybody can't get paid. That's the issue with the salary cap. Even though you could probably do some massaging. I really like Jameson Williams. I think I won't call him generational, but I think he's game-changing talent. So I think that the offense would be very crippled by the moving on from Jameson Williams. It would be a vastly different offense, but also I don't get to make those choices. So, Hutch Jr., I guess give yourself a shout out to everybody where to find you and your great work. And again, I know I reached out to you and about 5 other people to see if they could come on this morning. A couple of them said can't, have to work, blah, blah, blah. And I get it.
Yeah,
not everybody wants to get up this early.
No, you're fine. No, nope. As always, man. Dan, thanks for having me on. It's been fun. No, but you can find me on Twitter at the only one and only Hutch Jr. And then cmv.com, which is catchmyviberadio.com.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get you out of here, Hutch Jr. Thanks again for jumping on today. Thanks for being one that could. If we get some other news to you guys, I'll get Hutch Jr. or somebody else back on and we'll talk about it. But all right, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Hutch Jr.
Yeah, of course.
All right, I'll get back to the Do Crew comment section here for about 5 or so minutes, and then I got to get out of here. Chuck E. Cheese says crickets. Who doesn't like to eat chocolate-covered crickets? Drunk crickets, fair enough. Michael, Hawk, 17 million, a 1 year and no touchdowns this year. Yeah, I haven't really paid attention to the stats, so you might be spot on with that. Moonscar, what else we going to talk about this morning? Question mark. Going to be another show tomorrow and next day, et cetera, et cetera. Silent service. I'll be going to watch the Wings tomorrow in Seattle. Have fun out there, my friend. Have a great time. Rob, I've been watching cricket since getting ESPN Plus. Hey, well, crickets can be fun, I guess. JDC, bottom line, the NFL is a business, and that's the part of the game I don't care for. It is, man. It is a business, and at the end of the day, you got to make business choices. Jameson Williams to upgrade his defense to go to pass rusher. What do we have? Enough offensive skills? Could be that. Maybe they're looking to add some more defense and, feel like they have enough on offense. Andre Fields, y'all need to stop it. Jamo, generational player. Fair enough. We'll go with that. Let's see. Hogan, please don't get rid of Jamo. We need him to be that number 2. I know we can't keep everybody, but we need Jamo. I get it, man. I don't want to see him out of here either. It's just, if they trade him, you have to assume they have a reason why they would do it. JDC is still crickets. Tick, tick, tick. Hey, you got to like crickets. Let's see. T-Bone Lokes, Brad Holmes has to be considering the likelihood of being able to re-sign Jamo. Could be that too. Maybe he knows something we don't. That's the tough part none of us can speak on. Let's see. Daddy Gamer, Ricky Williams trade was the stupidest of all time. That might be accurate. That might be the quote of the day. Brian, my opinion, love his talent, but come on, fools. Kid's still humping the ground to get rid of him. All right, get rid of him. All right, fair enough. Waylon, Stafford trade was somewhat shocking, but it made sense because we got a good quarterback in return. Imagine no golf involved. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, that probably helped out. Plus, Brad Holmes was part of the regime that traded up from whatever it was, 15 to number 1 to get him, so I get that. Silver Silver, hello, Coach. Hello, Silver. JDC, it's a generational thing. I'll go with that. Sorry, my screen is locked up here. So, all right, there we go. Hey, there we go. All right, Keith, we should be focusing on the offensive line and the defense. Some adjustments and add some players. We are off to the Super Bowl 13-4. Go Lions. I'm down with that. Bugs. Yeah, thanks, guys. Bugs. Yeah, it took me a minute there to remember his name. So thank you there. Derek, Justin Jefferson is a generational player. Jamo is not at that level. We won many games without him. This is true. We did win without him. Let's see. Silent Service Jamo is not that type of issue. Come on, man. Fair enough. Andrew, I think it's more likely we can't pay him if we trade him, especially if he wants $30 million like St. Brown. It would be, I think, financially difficult to pay 2 receivers that amount of money on the same team. Could happen, but what are you going to subtract from the team if that's why they do it? Jamo Lion King, come on. We trade a guy because of a touchdown dance? I don't think that's why, man. I don't think so at all. I don't think that if they were to move on from him, I do think it'd be more about the fact that you can't pay both receivers the same amount. Curtis, Jameson Williams needs a mentor band. I think they're working on that for sure. See, Waylon, I always wondered if to circumvent the cap, you give a guy cash, do a Ford commercial. I'm not 100% sure on the rules on that, Waylon, so I don't want to comment on it. I think the NFL probably has, or the NFLPA probably has some verbiage in the agreements about that, but I don't know. Phil, the new OC is pass happy. He may have some plans for Jamo. Could be that. Jim, Jamo for Cooper and a 3rd rounder. Ooh, that's an idea. The central scrutinizer. Wayno is available as trade collateral. MCDC said he's going to dangle the rope and get it up to him if he holds on. I wouldn't surprise me if he trade him. Okay. Same old soup. Ronnie Bell, wide receiver 2. Maybe. One Viking. Watch how fast you can get people to get behind trading Jamo. Crosby for Jamo. Now that's a thought right there. Chuck Cheese, why would we start over, please? EC. Okay. I'm not. I don't think we're starting over. Miles Barr. A year ago, we were dealing with Cam Sutton. I prefer this year's rumors. Okay. No, I'll go with that. Yep. That's a great call about Cam Sutton. I forgot that's a year ago. Johnny Gaz, good morning. Dan Aduku, exclamation point. Have a great Monday. Dan, let's make some magic soon. Hey, let me know, man. Reach out to me. You got my number. Mr. Detroit City, Kristen Harper is my hero. Fair enough. Detroit Lions bad guy. Maybe a Jamo Woodstock acting like it's his first day of being a senior in high school, humming the end zone when he scores a touchdown. He wouldn't be trade talks now. Could grow up. Okay. Mr. Ed, good morning, crew. Hey, Brad, start signing the players you want to keep and put a stop to all the guessing. All right. Chuck E. Cheese, please explain to me why he would want to start over and what would you do? I don't think the Lions are starting over. Now, maybe if you're talking about something else with Jameson Williams or wide receiver 2, that I think would be a good question. Let's see. Anybody's version, let's see. We only got a couple of guys with speed on the team, which is Gibbs and Raymond, and do not need to lose him because he is a second receiver. Yeah, and I don't want to see him gone. I want to be clear on that. I don't want to see him gone. I guess if it comes down to 2026 and can you pay them all, that's what it'd probably be. All right, guys, just 2 or 3 more, and then I got to get out of here. I'm running out of time. Sorry. JDC, Johnny Gas Sports, hello. AG, get up early. Yes, he does. Would stop, not Woodstock. Okay, camping, trading Jamo is not smart. Let's see, a couple other guys. Daddy Gamer, is selfish and self-centered. Never celebrates in his own touchdowns with his teammates. Always runs away. Verbal Kent, Jameson Williams hasn't even come close to his potential. I agree with that. I think he's got a lot more upside. JDC, Coach Dan, and Crows before the Roosters. I do get up early. Early bird plumbing, laughing, central scrutinizer. I think Wayno's behavior going to forward will determine what happens. Okay, yeah, going forward determines what happens. Hogan, how can they get rid of Broderick Martin? They could cut him, I guess. I don't think they could really trade him. JDC, I doth agree. Waylon, I called Pico trash because he is. Okay, all right. Phil Barkman never got here. He's as of yet has not done anything. Daddy Gamer, Jameson for Crosby and a second-round pick. Hey, if we get that much for him, I would take it. Greg, Mike Green. Yeah, I like Mike Green, by the way. I do. I just think if for Detroit, he'd have to almost play the linebacker. Jess, maybe Jamo and our first for Crosby. That's an idea. Phil, how many of the injured defensive players will the Lions keep? We'll have to dive into that in another one. Waylon, who is this? We don't have a 50-50 deep ball player. That's exactly what he is. This is insane talk. Maybe you actually see how good he really is without liquid since Snake Ben not using him. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what the new people do. All right, let's see. Brian, what the heck? Hutch Jr. saying he is free agent next year. Can't trade him next year if he has another 1,000-yard season. That I don't know. Jess, Jamo is just immature. He seems very young. He does, but he hopefully is growing up here. Phil, Ben Johnson getting too cute with Jameson Williams, a trick pass play in the playoffs. He did just that. Kurt Steele, congrats, Coach Dan, on his win this weekend. Thank you for that very much. Jamo, let's see, Gmo, what do you got? Good morning, Coach Dan, Duke Crew. Woo! Congrats on your team's win, Coach Dan. Thank you very much for that, and hopefully we get another one to hear tonight. Let's see, Waylon, if Brad and Sheila are penny pinching, maybe we don't bring the rest of the league's injury-prone players back, get a check that goes on the cap, and don't even take the field. Maybe. DZ, Myles Garrett and Max Crosby for Jamo, or I know somebody mentioned that, so maybe that's it. ZD, I'll go with that. Let's see, the Trim Reaper, sign Cup and trade for Max, maybe. Phil, Coach, do you base any strategy according to who is refereeing your games? No, but you do make in-game adjustments to how the game is being called. How about that? JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. Gabe, no, not unless we get Crosby in a first and third round pick or Garrett or some other picks. Yeah, that I don't know. I have no idea what it would be in return. The Trim Reaper, what up, Johnny G? Drew, Jamo is not going anywhere. Question mark. Go back and listen to MCDC about how he feels about him. Crazy talk. I get it, but the only thing I would say, Drew, is if you follow sports for any length of time, most of the time they don't come out and tell you ahead of time they're going to trade him. They do say stuff like that and say, "Hey, this guy's not going anywhere. He's generational. He's part of the team. He's a bedrock of our foundation." And then the following day, we get breaking news. Moodsguard, no. It's what this generation likes to do. Campbell wants his players to be themselves, not make them hate playing in Detroit, because that's not what their touchdowns celebrations. Okay, I'll go with that. All right, guys, if there is one last, Coach, there you go, JDC. If there is some sort of breaking news later today, I'll get it on over to you. Before you check it out, if you would be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. See you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Have a great day, everybody.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus?
Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism?
Of Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology?
Or nuclear power?